the dimly lit back room of an upscale Italian restaurant, the air is thick with tension. The faint hum of distant conversations and the clinking of silverware in the main dining area feel worlds away, drowned out by the intensity of the moment. Giovanni Ricci, the mafia boss known for his ruthless nature and cold-blooded tactics, stands towering over his latest captive, Sarah Montgomery. His broad frame casts a long shadow across the room, as if the very air bends to his intimidating presence. Sarah, a woman in her mid-30s with long, straight auburn hair, clutches her wrist in pain. Her black dress, simple, elegant, has become a stark contrast to the disarray around her. The hem is slightly torn, and her pale face is a canvas of fear, her wide eyes darting nervously from one corner of the room to the next. She is trapped, and every instinct within her screams for escape, but she knows Giovanni's men are watching closely. Their expressions are unreadable, but the cold, calculating stares they give her make it clear that her fate is already sealed in their minds. They know their boss's temper all too well. Giovanni's voice, low and venomous, breaks the silence. "Tell me where he is!" His hands grip Sarah's arm with a brutal force, shaking her violently. His rage is palpable, the veins in his neck bulging as his temper flares. He has no patience for games, and he knows that Sarah, for all her fear, is the only person who might hold the key to finding the man he's after. Sarah's breath hitches, her heart pounding in her chest as her mind races. The images of her husband, Lucas Montgomery, flood her thoughts. His face, his quiet demeanor, his charm and sophistication. But there's another side to Lucas, a side Sarah never wanted to acknowledge until now. Lucas is not just any man. He's not merely the powerful business tycoon that he projects to the world. Beneath the polished exterior lies a man deeply enmeshed in a criminal underworld, a world that has now come crashing into their lives. Sarah has always been the shield protecting Lucas from the worst of his secrets, but the truth has a way of finding its way to the surface. Giovanni doesn't know what he's dealing with. He doesn't understand the depth of the web Lucas is tangled in, deals with people more dangerous than Giovanni himself, alliances that stretch across borders, and an empire built on power, corruption, and deceit. Sarah's role was always to guard Lucas's darkest truths, to protect him from the consequences of his actions, but now, in Giovanni's hands, that protection feels as fragile as glass, ready to shatter at any moment. Despite trying his best to protect Lucas from evil, he reaches out to Dmitri to try to harm himself. As Giovanni drags Sarah through the back door of the restaurant, she stumbles on the uneven pavement, her mind a swirling storm of panic and disbelief. Her body is sore, her wrist throbbing where Giovanni's grip has left a bruise, but it's not the pain that overwhelms her. It's the cold realization that their world is unraveling faster than she can comprehend. Giovanni is closing in, and Lucas's secret, one that she has fought so hard to keep buried, is moments away from being exposed. If Giovanni uncovers the truth, it won't just be Lucas in danger, it will be their entire lives. Fear grips Sarah's chest as she glances over her shoulder, half expecting to see the looming figure of Giovanni's men trailing behind her. Each step she takes feels heavier, the weight of her husband's secrets pressing down on her like a leaden cloak. Her thoughts are a blur, flashes of everything she's tried to protect, the life they've built, the love they shared, and the safety she thought they had. It's all slipping away, and she can feel the walls closing in around them. Giovanni's voice breaks through her thoughts, his words sharp as daggers. "You're not leaving here until you tell me where he is." The coldness in his tone sends a chill down her spine. She knows he's capable of anything, willing to cross any line to get what he wants. Eat. And then, the brutal truth settles over her like a dark cloud. She might not make it out of this room alive. But there's something more to fear than Giovanni's wrath. It's the terrifying possibility that Lucas's secret will destroy everything. Sarah has always believed she could protect him, but now she's beginning to wonder if it's too late. The power dynamics are shifting in this room. Giovanni holds the upper hand, but Sarah's mind is working quickly, searching for any way out, any small advantage. But she knows deep down that this is a moment of no return. The scales are tipping, and no matter what she does, the truth will come crashing down. Either it will break her, or it will destroy everything she's fought to protect. As Giovanni drags her further into the night, Sarah knows she has only one choice left: face the consequences of Lucas's secret or risk everything to protect him. But at what cost? Inside a secluded warehouse, Giovanni Ricci sits at the head of a long wooden table, flanked by his most loyal men. Sarah is placed at the far end, her hands bound tightly, her body shaking. The cold steel of the chains digging into her skin only heightens her sense of vulnerability. Giovanni's voice booms across the room as he declares, "We'll make your husband pay for his mistakes. He's going to regret crossing me." Sarah's heart sinks. She can see the wicked gleam in Giovanni's eyes, the hunger for revenge in his expression. She knows he's not just talking about a simple business deal gone wrong. Giovanni's threats are about to become deadly serious, and it's all her fault. The thought of revealing Lucas's dark secrets weighs heavily on her conscience. She knows that if she gives Giovanni what he wants, everything will change, but it's too late to turn back. As Sarah hesitates, the faces around her grow colder, more calculating. Her mind races. If she confesses to Lucas's darkest secrets, his dealings with rival criminal organizations, the betrayals that have plagued their lives, it will only deepen Giovanni's hunger for control. The walls in the room feel like they are closing in. Finally, with trembling lips, Sarah admits the truth. Lucas was involved in illegal deals, she says, her voice cracking as the weight of the confession bears down on her. He's connected to rival criminal organizations. His betrayal almost cost him his life. The room falls silent. Giovanni's smug grin fades as he processes the information. The revelation hits him harder than he expected. The stakes have just gotten a lot higher, and the power dynamic in the room shifts dramatically. With the knowledge that Lucas is a key player in a far more dangerous game, Giovanni begins to see new opportunities and new threats. This is no longer just about revenge. It's about control, and Giovanni will stop at nothing to make sure he's the one in charge. Giovanni motions for his men to surround Sarah. "You've just sealed your husband's fate," he says, his voice low and menacing. He then turns to his men, his voice rising with renewed energy. "Prepare for a reckoning." Sarah's mind races, and her heart is filled with dread, but one thing becomes clear in that moment. She's no longer just a pawn in their game. She's the key to everything. Meanwhile, Lucas Montgomery is racing through the streets, his expression cold and determined. He's a tall man with sharp eyes, his every step calculated. The urgency of the situation is apparent in the tense lines of his jaw and the fire in his gaze. He needs to get to Sarah before Giovanni does something irreversible. Time is running out, and Lucas knows it. But there's only one way to get to Giovanni, one last-ditch effort to save his wife. Lucas enters his private office and pulls out a hidden drawer. Inside, there's an unmarked envelope. The contents? A single phone number. It's a number he's been given in the past, a line to someone who could tip the scales in his favor. But it's a dangerous number, and using it could destroy everything he's worked for. With a deep breath, Lucas dials the number. A voice crackles on the other end. "This is your only chance, but once you start, there's no turning back." Lucas knows exactly what that means. A deadly confrontation with Giovanni that could end in bloodshed. But he's not afraid. This is a gamble he's willing to take if it means saving Sarah. As Lucas hangs up the phone, he feels a strange sense of calm. It's the calm before the storm, and he's ready to face whatever comes next. He heads to the garage, his mind already calculating his next moves. He knows what he's up against: Giovanni, his men, and an entire criminal empire that wants him destroyed. But he also knows that if he doesn't act fast, it will be too late for Sarah. And for him. The final showdown takes place in an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the city. The place reeks of decay, the walls lined with dust and debris. Giovanni and his men are waiting, their weapons at the ready. They know this could end in bloodshed, but Giovanni isn't backing down. He's brought his best men with him, and he's prepared for war. When Lucas arrives, his face is stoic, betraying no emotion. He steps inside the warehouse, his jacket hiding the gun tucked underneath. The tension in the air is palpable. Giovanni's eyes narrow as he realizes Lucas isn't alone. His face contorts in anger as reinforcements step forward, some of the most dangerous figures in Lucas's business dealings. The standoff is set. For a moment, time seems to slow. The two men lock eyes, their stares intense. And then, the air is shattered by the deafening sound of gunfire. The warehouse erupts in chaos. The once controlled power dynamics crumble as both sides engage in a brutal battle. Giovanni makes a desperate attempt to regain control, but Lucas is faster, more calculating. The gunfight is a blur of motion, a frenzy of bullets and blood. When the dust finally settles, Giovanni Ricci is dead, his empire shattered. Lucas stands victorious, but the cost of this win is clear. The power struggle that had been waged in the shadows has come to an end, but the destruction it left in its wake will never be undone. Bodies lay scattered around the room, a grim testament to the brutal conflict that just unfolded. With Giovanni Ricci dead and his criminal empire in ruins, Lucas and Sarah stand together, but everything has changed. The world they once knew is gone, and the people they used to be have been forever altered by the bloodshed and deception. Sarah watches Lucas closely. She loves him, but the man standing before her now is not the man she married. The deadly secret Lucas had been hiding from her, his involvement in a world of violence, manipulation, and murder, has been exposed. The truth has come at a devastating cost, and though they are safe for now, the scars of what they've endured will never fade. As they walk away from the wreckage of their old life, Lucas tries to make amends. He speaks softly, promising to do better, to be better. "I've put you through hell, Sarah. I'll never forgive myself for it. But I swear to you, we'll rebuild. Together." His voice falters, the weight of his words heavy in the stillness. But Sarah can't help but wonder if that's even possible. Their love has survived, but it's no longer the same. The weight of the past hangs heavily between them, and Sarah must decide if the man she loves is worth the cost of the life they now lead. As they step into an uncertain future, the question remains, can they ever truly escape the world Lucas built, or is it already too late for redemption?